Welcome back to the Prosperity Lounge, everyone. Today we're bringing you another conversation from the Liberty University CEO Summit. I've got a special guest with me, someone who represents the future of financial wisdom and faith-driven leadership. I'm joined by Makyiah Sendelbach, a financial planning major, peer financial coach, and resident advisor at Liberty University. She's already helping students make smarter money decisions, building habits that will shape their entire financial future. And she approaches it with a deep sense of stewardship and purpose. And today we're shining a spotlight on the next generation, the young leaders who will shape the financial world for decades to come. Makyiah just doesn't study finance. She lives it. She teaches it. And she's walking alongside students who are navigating the same real-world money challenges many of us wish we had help with at her age. In our conversation, we talk about the power of early budgeting, the importance of financial literacy, and how understanding that God owns it all changes the way we approach money. We also explore why stewardship is more than a principle. It's a calling that has the power to transform family trees. So, key takeaway: one of the most powerful breakthroughs in this interview is Makyah's reminder that prosperity begins with stewardship, not income, not a degree or circumstance. When you recognize that everything you have is something you're entrusted with, it changes the way you budget, spend, give, and grow. So here's a question for you. What's one area of your financial life that would look different if you approached it as something God has entrusted you to steward? If you ever wondered what the future of faith-based financial planning looks like, you're about to meet it. So pull up a chair. This is the Prosperity Lounge.
Grab a seat, sip some wisdom, and stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge, where growth gets personal. Step inside, we're breaking chains.
All right, welcome back to the Prosperity Lounge, live from the Liberty University CEO Summit. Well, live recording, but you guys are watching this after the fact. Appreciate you. This is day 2. It's been a very successful time so far. I've talked to a bunch of different leaders in all different industries so far. It's been a blast to learn about just about everything that we've been talking about on the show going forward. Just different types of leadership abilities and skills and culture and workplaces. And we talked about the next generation. And I have someone here with me today who is representing the next generation of leaders in finance. Makyiah Sendelbach, a financial planning major and a peer financial coach, and I believe you said RA,
yes,
here at Liberty University. Makyiah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for pulling up the chair.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So I love talking to students who are already out there helping others manage money, plan for the future. You're not just learning finance. You're living it. You're teaching it. Let's start there. Tell me a little bit about how you got into your interest in financial planning.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I had a personal finance class, and that's where I really learned how to start balancing a checkbook, just learning like what it looks like to buy a car and all those kinds of baseline personal finance items. And then I found out about Liberty University, and I heard that we had a great financial planning program here. That was the thing I was most interested in, was just becoming a financial advisor and helping people, because I know that a lot of people do have problems with their money, and they have a lot of questions too.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
That's definitely something that I wanted to get involved in. So
Was there a moment or a person that made you realize that this was something you wanted to pursue?
So my professor, Kurt Cornfield, he's the head of the financial planning school here,
Okay.
or the program.
Good person to
and
know.
Yes, he really kind of converts students and is like, if you want to help people, getting at their money and like their heart is really the way to go. And so that's really what convinced me and pushed me over the edge to help me get into the financial planning program.
Is there one area of financial planning you've taken so far that you enjoy the most? Is it insurance, investments, estate planning?
I would say investments is the hardest.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They're all very complicated and complex. There's a lot of depth to them.
Yeah.
I would say so far my favorite is just like the budgeting, honestly. I know that's very baseline,
Yeah.
but that's what I feel most comfortable with. And I feel like that's where you have to start. And so that's definitely my favorite part so far.
Yeah. One of my core tenements with coaching is, I'm a financial coach as well.
Yeah.
And I always tell my clients the budget is the foundation upon which your financial house is built.
Exactly.
The stronger the foundation, we can pile on investments, we can pile on real estate, we can even pile on debt if we need to.
Yeah.
But if you're building on quicksand, you're not gonna. It's a disaster waiting to happen. So my own story is we were successful business owners back in 2007. You're probably too young to remember that financial crisis.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And our income dropped from 6 figures down to low. We had 8 employees at the time. We were doing pet sitting and dog walking.
Okay.
I didn't go to grad school. I started walking dogs. And to my family, I had to prove that I was smart not going to grad school.
Yeah.
And I had to pick up dog poop and walk dogs. But I was making good money.
Yeah.
And then the crisis hit, and everybody worked from home. And they didn't need our services anymore. And we didn't pivot too well. And my ignorance decided to start continuing to spend like we were making a lot of money. Keep up with the Joneses. And we got in $370,000 in debt. It's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And hit rock bottom. Came home one weekend. It was a 3-day weekend, and we had a notice on our door that we had to pay our rent or get out in 3 days. Our power was turned off and our water was turned off.
Oh my goodness.
It's a long weekend.
Yeah.
I had to run a shower hose, a garden hose up a flight of stairs from a community faucet at our apartment building and take a cold shower. And understanding what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
So we had creditors calling us, creditors calling my family. I was borrowing money from my parents. I didn't, a big mess. And I was driving home one day, and I heard Dave Ramsey on the radio, and he was telling a caller how to yell at creditors.
Really?
And I was taken aback because I'm like, oh, the creditors, they know everything about you. You're supposed to work with them. I can't yell at them. They're going to get mad.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, you just yell at them, hang up on them, tell them there's to go. You ain't going to work with them. And I was like, okay, it's kind of refreshing in a bit.
Yeah.
So I went home and I told my wife to listen to him on the radio. He's Southern, he's biblically based, he's Christian, he's different than all the talk radio stuff to listen to. And it was my way of having the conversation with her that we're in trouble because I didn't have the talk yet.
Okay.
We came home the next day and I forgot about it. And she's sitting in the corner. It's a dark room, but she's got the light on in the corner and she's reading a book. And I said, hey, how you doing? I went to the library today. I said, oh, yeah? Yeah, I got all of Dave Ramsey's books and I signed us up for his class. We start next week.
Oh my goodness.
And first thing I said was, I don't know how we're going to pay for it. We didn't have the $100.
Yeah.
And the class, going through it and finding purpose in a process changed our perspective on how we handle things and how we communicate with each other.
Yeah.
It finished the process, and I looked at her, and I don't know what this looks like, but I need to help people like us because we were alone there this entire time.
Yeah.
I alienated family, friends, everything. So how do I help people that are like us? And I found financial coaching as an option. So I did the Ramsey program, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
So I went and wanted to be a certified financial planner. And I did my certificate in financial planning coursework. I got my MBA in financial planning. I started taking classes here at Liberty in the process and the DBA program. And I finished my MBA, and before taking the test for the certified financial planner test, I took a behavioral finance course that said, I like this. I like getting to the root cause of why people spend why they spend the way they do.
Yeah.
And part of it for me was I could be a decent financial planner. I hate investments. I hate not so much the act of it, but the thought of, hey, the market dropped 100 points or whatever it was on Friday. How are my clients doing? I couldn't have that weigh on me.
Yeah. That's fair.
So I was like, I'm going to be a really bad financial planner, but I'm going to be a really kick butt coach.
Yeah.
Because of the empathy and sympathy I had for people and coaching the whole person around their money. And you'll find as you go through the process of when you're coaching, you probably see this too, is how they react or how they're interacting with money is just a symptom of how they're reacting to everything else in their life.
Yeah.
If they're making emotional decisions to buy something because they got a good grade on a test or they got a bad grade on a test, they're also making those same emotional decisions in their workplace, in their relationships with others, in their spiritual relationship and everything else. So finding the one thing that you could address and sort of course correct them with gives them okay, I could do it here. Now I can do it in other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Have you seen anybody you've worked with so far that you've kind of identified? It's not just money you're having an issue with, but there's probably some other things we need to address too.
Yeah. So I work with both faculty members and also students.
Okay.
And a lot of what I see in the students is their parents are paying for their college, they're getting scholarships. So they don't really have an income, but they just have more general questions. And then for faculty members, that's more of like the real world problems that we're dealing with. But I've kind of noticed some issues that are outside of money, but are definitely controlled by their money.
Yeah.
Like there's a lack of, oh, I want this, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I haven't had many just to be like, yes, I'm kind of figuring this out.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries. It's experience versus getting
Yeah.
experience.
I'm only like a month into the peer coaching.
Oh, seriously?
So it's very fresh, but I
Okay.
really enjoy it. So
Nice. So a lot of people think finance, they hear spreadsheets and numbers, but there's obviously we're talking about that human side of it.
yeah.
What part of financial planning really connects to you personally?
I would say just the aspect of being able to partner with someone in their life and be able to kind of like you were saying, walk alongside them, coach them through the issues that they're going through, because a lot of them do feel so lost. And they're like, I just want someone who will hold my hand and help me. And it's also a really great ministry opportunity to be able
Absolutely.
to share the love of Christ with them and just speak into like the more biblical aspect of how God views money.
Absolutely. That's the big thing that I'm hearing nowadays is like, and I'm the first to admit that I'm not very biblically versed. Like I can't quote, borrow a slave for the lender. I know that, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's what it technically says, but I know it's kind of there. But there's a grounds in morality and a grounds in virtue and what's right and wrong to kind of bring people into like a secular or non-secular coaching, and then kind of lay the groundwork to have a more spiritual conversation with people down the road. But you're in a unique situation here at Liberty where the conversations are grounded as secular. You are talking faith-based through that, so you are having that conversation right off the bat.
Yeah.
How do you envision having conversations when you're out there in the real world? How do you plan to incorporate faith into conversations with people who may not be ready to hear it,
Yeah.
may not want to hear it? It's a good question.
That's a very good question. I would say it really just depends based on where I'm working, kind of gauging if the clients do have Christian values or if they don't. I think you can really get a good gauge of where people are at based on generosity too. Are they giving to places where their heart's very inclined to give?
Sure.
And so I think that's kind of a good gauge of
Yeah.
kind of
makes
seeing
sense.
where they're at with that. And then also asking probing questions during just getting to know the client. And then you can see kind of where to go from there.
Where
But
their heart
definitely-
is and where their risk level is for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. What are some of the most common issues you see, challenges with your peers are facing right now? As far as you mentioned a little bit earlier about potentially understanding what money is in the world for students when their parents are paying for college and there's really no bills to worry about, except maybe a football game ticket or pizza on Friday.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are getting credit cards to do that probably, and figuring out how to pay it back. What are some of the common challenges you're seeing right now among students?
I would say generally just a lack of financial literacy and just, I don't know what a credit card is. I don't know what an interest rate is. Kind of like those things to start off with. But then if their parents aren't able to pay for college for them, and they aren't able to get those scholarships, what I see a lot is student debt too. And so just kind of navigating that, especially as you get closer to graduation.
Sure.
What does that look like for someone looking for a job and then kind of trying to tackle that right off the bat out of college?
Okay. So you grew up in Wisconsin.
Yes.
We talked about cheese curds earlier.
Yep.
In high school, did you have any financial literacy courses or any access to that in your high school?
Yes, I had a personal finance class. But
That's amazing because
Yes.
that's pretty rare nowadays. I know they're trying to get that to be a standard in some states, but yeah, we didn't have that growing up.
it was a requirement for us, so I'm very thankful for that. And that's
awesome.
kind of what led me into being curious about financial planning.
Yeah, because you start seeing compound interest at a young age, and you go, "Hey, if I put $5 away now, I'm going to be a millionaire when
Yeah, exactly.
I'm retired." It's easy enough to do. Okay. So, how does Liberty prepare students not just to succeed financially, but also align their financial life with their faith and values?
Yeah, so the faith and values aspect.
Yeah.
I would say we have a lot of things here at Liberty University, such as convocation, campus community, community groups. Those are all things that are built into the Liberty University, like, powerhouse, I guess you would call it. And that really offers students the ability to find community and get into community, and be able to grow and have leadership opportunities. Personally, I'm an RA, and so that's helped me really to be able to grow in my spiritual life, but also just kind of like adulting as well, learning how to have hard conversations with students, and face things that I normally wouldn't face if I were just a normal student here. So
Turn down the music; it's too loud.
yeah.
Gotcha. What I like about that is you talked about community. And one of the things we find is, especially around people who are in debt, is that debt thrives in isolation. And I talked to somebody who was way more faith than I was, and they talked about the devil comes out in isolation as well. But when you surround yourself in community, you have something to gravitate to, fall back on. You're not alone in the process. So I love that. I love that about this campus in general, and what you guys are doing here. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing to be here. I'm very thankful for that.
For sure. What's something you've learned so far from coaching other students that's changed how you view money?
I would say practicing what you preach is very important.
Hardest thing to do.
Yes.
Especially when you get older.
This summer, for the peer coaching, we were assigned to create our own budget and like pull our own credit reports and just do our own research before we could actually sit in with our clients and kind of coach them on any questions that they would have. So I would say starting with a budget, and that's like impacted me the most, and to be able to like actually have the experience to share that with the person that I'm talking with across the table from me.
People think budget's restriction, but it's really permission to spend. It's your roadmap for your money.
Yeah. And then you can find financial margin too, which gives them more freedom to do what they want to do or get out of debt. Yeah. So
I had one client. We when we created a budget, they had a coffee line in their budget, and I made them, because it was pretty high, I made them have separate line items for each coffee place they go to. So there was Starbucks, there was a gas station, and there was whatever else. And they were spending a lot of gas station coffee. And I'm like, it's like 80% of your coffee budget is gas station coffee. Maybe make the coffee at home, because gas station coffee is not the greatest.
Yeah.
It's cheap, but you're spending a lot. So finding like those little margins like you're talking about, where you can make those improvements and then put it towards your goals or your debt or whatever you are in the process. I love that. College is usually, like we talked about, the first time people are really having to manage their money. What's one simple tip that you would give every college student when it comes to staying on track financially?
I would say, kind of like I said in the past, just really having a budget and starting off, like just knowing how much income you're having coming in, and then kind of figuring out with there, like what you can have going out as well.
Absolutely.
Just knowing where your money is going, I feel like, is very important, because you can just tap your card, tap your phone, and then it's gone. But then when you have no money left, that's kind of where
that
$3
$3 cup of coffee becomes a $39 cup with the overdraft fee hits.
Yes, exactly.
It gets expensive. But there are statistics out there now that's been around a while that people do spend significantly more when they're tapping their card versus cash. So,
Yeah.
because you get distracted a lot of times too. You grab something at the end of the counter, throw it on, tap, turn around. You don't even see how much you're spending until the bill comes. Whatever, minimum payment.
And I would say using cash for me definitely hurts a lot more than just tapping my phone.
Oh gosh, yeah, you feel the weight of it leaving your hands.
Yeah.
Pockets empty. I hate to open up my wallet and it's just like moths are flying out. So I spent all my cash. How has your, we kind of talked about this a little bit, your faith shaped the way you define financial success? Do you see money as a tool, a responsibility, or something else?
I would say money is definitely seen in my life as more of a tool. I think it's something that God has given to me to steward well. And one of my favorite topics to talk about in peer coaching is the idea of stewardship. And Psalm 24 says that God owns it all, and that is including money. And so I think that's something that's really important to talk about and just have conversations about, but also keep in mind when I'm creating a budget, spending my own money, planning for the future. I think it's really important to just keep that in mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a concept, and you probably know about it now as you're getting ready to graduate and get into the financial advising world and planning world, is suitability versus fiduciary. And most financial advisors who are insurance agents or call themselves financial advisors have a suitability aspect that they have to subscribe to, which is just giving you something that suits you basically. The fiduciary aspect is, I have to be extra careful. I have to,
in the best interest
of the client. And even though I am not certified financial planner or Series 65 or any of that stuff right now, I still use that same fiduciary concepts with my clients. What's best for my clients? What's best for me and them? And I think that's a great kind of mindset to have as you enter coaching as well. Let me think for a second. I'll probably edit this part out because I'm thinking.
That's okay.
Okay. So we talk a lot on the show here about prosperity. Talk about money, business, finance, leadership, community, and prosperity in general. Show is not rooted in the prosperity principle or the prosperity doctor or anything like that. I thought it was a cool name, but it works. Been asking everybody what their definition of prosperity is. What does it mean to you right now at your age, your season of life?
I would say just kind of what I've said previously is just recognizing that God owns it all and just being able to fully surrender the things that we have to the Lord. And then in that He will help us to grow, and He will entrust us with the amount of whatever money, tools, resources, any of that. He'll entrust us with what He thinks that we can handle, and then we'll be able to flourish that if we steward that well.
I love that, and that's where my mind was going when I blanked, was the stewardship aspect and tying that to the fiduciary aspect. It seems to go hand in hand. That's what I was going to try to get at, more than just like the suitability part of it. Because if He owns it all, you have to manage it correctly, and do it with a fiduciary standard. Seems to be just the way to do it. I don't know why you wouldn't do it that way, but anyway, that's just my little rant. When you look to the future, do you see yourself working one-on-one with families, teaching financial literacy, building something of your own?
Yeah.
What do you see?
I'm still kind of figuring that out. I definitely, like I said, I loved my personal finance class in high school, and I would love to be able to teach that in some aspect, whether that's possibly at a school or maybe even holding a class at a church. Like I know Dave Ramsey has some classes that get implemented throughout churches. I think that's something that I would definitely want to be doing, as well as just working with clients one-on-one, either at an RA or a broker-dealer. And I don't know if I would necessarily want to have my own business because I feel like I want to have a family first. So just kind of balancing that as well. But I definitely would love to work one-on-one with clients and be able to serve them in that capacity.
I love that. Work-life balance is very important. What would you say would be your dream impact as a financial planner?
So what we say here at the Center for Financial Literacy, which is our financial planning, like a lot of financial planning majors are involved in that. But it's to ignite generational change with the biblical application of edit this out. The practical application of biblical financial wisdom will ignite generational change throughout lives. And so just implementing those biblical principles, whether it be outright or just like the moral aspect of it, and then allowing someone to hear that for the first time, and then their life be changed and generations be changed after that.
Changing family trees.
Exactly.
Man, it takes one seed sometimes to do that, and you got to plant it, nurture it, cultivate it. Man, you guys are doing a great job here. What's one lesson that you hope your generation, dare I say even mine, learns about money and stewardship?
I would say just to use it wisely, and not just. I feel like the basic answer is like spend less than you earn, but that's really where you can flourish, and I feel like that way you won't get into trouble. So, yeah, using things wisely, like not using your credit cards too much, more than you can't pay, or just, being very wise with that in that capacity.
If you could speak to your freshman self, what advice would you give her about balancing work, school, and purpose?
I would say definitely focus on purpose first and foremost, knowing where my identity comes from, and that's from the Lord. And then also working hard in school, because this is like my kind of launching pad to becoming an adult fully outside of college. And then I would say also get a job too, because then I have some income, so then I can actually spend money.
So get a job.
Yeah.
J-O-B. Love that. Graduation's going to come up soon.
Yes.
What are your plans for after graduation?
I'm currently working at an internship back home in Wisconsin. It's remote, but we also, in the financial planning major, we have employers come in and we have dinner with them. So we have opportunities to get internships and jobs through interviews with them. And so I'm still kind of figuring that out, but that's definitely something that I'm still navigating.
Have you guys checked out or have dabbled with like e-money and those kind of planning programs yet?
Yes, we do have e-money certifications, but I'm more well-versed in the Money Guide Pro aspect, because that's what I've been doing for my job. So, yeah.
Those are fun to learn and get through.
Yeah.
My God, I don't miss that much. All right. So right before we wrap up, I ask all my guests a rapid-fire round questions. You're no different.
Okay.
First words that come to your head, but I changed them around a little bit because I want to get your perspective on a few things here. What's the best book you've read that changed your perspective on things?
I feel like this is cliche, but I would say the Bible.
Heard that a few
Just
times.
because that's like the groundwork of the rest. Like, you can find any answer in the Bible. And so.
That's true.
And it also shapes my worldview. So, yeah.
What's a daily habit that keeps you grounded?
Making my bed every morning. It's a small win.
I love that. What's a financial mistake you've seen students make most often?
Not knowing what interest is and how it accrues. You can get really caught up in that with using credit cards.
That's a big one, especially when it's like 19% and it goes up to 35% when you miss a payment. And then,
Yeah.
Okay. If you could have dinner with any financial expert, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh, I would say Ron Blue.
I think he was here this weekend. Or this past couple
He's been in a lot of my classes, and then we had breakfast with him yesterday. I didn't get to talk to him, but he's been around.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had breakfast with him, but not dinner. Okay, gotcha. What's one mindset shift that changed how you view money?
Like I said, recognizing that God owns it all and using it as a tool to honor him and glorify him.
Love that. And what is your personal definition of prosperity?
I don't remember what I said last time.
It could be different.
I would say flourishing in the things that the Lord has provided for me.
Perfect. Makyiah, thank you for sharing your story. The work you're doing helps students make smarter financial decisions here. You represent exactly what prosperity looks like in action, using your gift to serve others. For everyone listening and watching, remember, prosperity isn't just what you earn. It's about what you learn and how you live it. So until next time, everybody, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge. Thanks for pulling up a chair inside the Prosperity Lounge, where growth gets personal and hope meets freedom. I hope today's conversation sparks some new ideas and inspire you to take your next bold action towards freedom in business, finances, and life. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. You can also join our free community at theprosperitylounge.com, where the conversation continues and you can connect with others, get access to our exclusive resources like our budget course, our budget app, and a ton of downloads. Until next time, everybody, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough.
This is